Well, shalom, y'all, and welcome back to Mark in a Moment. Today we're going to be looking at the title, Son of God, that we see in Mark 1:1. And I say title because it is not just a genetic description of Jesus. It is a title, and it represents his status, his power, and his mission. So there's a lot wrapped up in that title. One of the things I want to discuss is why God sent his son and not his daughter. So hang around to the end and we'll talk about that. I think there's a very good reason why Jesus sent his son. Nothing against women, but in this particular case, God had to send a son. First thing we want to think about is that God always speaks to us in ways that we can comprehend. If you think about the Old Testament prophets, I guess God spoke to them in Hebrew because that was the language they spoke. He appeared to Moses in a burning bush because Moses understood bushes and he understood fire, and you put them two together, and that's something very, very unusual. But God in his mercy always communicates with us in ways that we can understand, and that's because he wants us to understand. He gives us little pieces of himself. The book of Hebrews talks about God communicated with us in many ways during the Old Testament, but in Jesus, it's his best and final offer. Jesus is as much of God as we can comprehend. There's more to God than Jesus is, but as much as we can comprehend of God, everything we need to know about God for salvation is all tied up in Jesus, the Son of God. So in the culture, the Son was seen as the exact representation of the Father. We still have this a little bit today. We say like Father, like Son, or the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But the Son, the only Son, was also equipped and empowered to speak with the full power and authority of the Father. So if the Son said something, the Father was bound by that. And if you think about the problems in travel and communication back in the first century, if you were trying to negotiate with someone in another city, or if you were a king and trying to negotiate with someone in another country, you couldn't physically go there, it'd take too long. So you would send your son, your representative, and your son would negotiate for you. Or if you were the king, the son would negotiate with another king. And it was as if the king himself were there negotiating with that distant king. So the son was seen as the exact representation of the Father, identifying exactly with the Father, and speaking with the full power and authority of the Father. Anything the Son said, the Father was expected to back up. So when we think about the Son of God, it's not just genetic, it's power and authority. When Jesus said something, he was resembling God. He was speaking with the full power and authority of God. It was as if God was there, right there on the earth. So we kind of see that Jesus is the exact representation of the God, since he is the Son of God. Now, finally, why couldn't it have been the daughter of God? I guess he had a 50-50 chance. Could have sent a son, could have sent a daughter. But I think, remember, God speaks to us in ways that we can comprehend. Our comprehension is limited. We're limited by our culture, by our language, by our preconceived notions. And in the first century, women were not seen as honorable beings. Now, women, I'm sorry, don't get mad with me. It's not me. It was the culture. Women were seen as a source of shame, that they could bring shame to the family or shame to something. And they were expected to be controlled either by their father or their husband their entire lives. In fact, shortly after Jesus in Roman culture, in the city of Rome, the most dangerous thing, and we have writings from this period to confirm this, the most dangerous threat to society was a rich widow, because she had money and she had power and she had nobody controlling her. So again, that's a terrible way to run your society, and I hope we've gotten over that today. But that was the way the first century was, and because of that, God, in his mercy, I don't think God agreed with treating women like that. He could have sent his daughter, but his daughter would not have been received as the exact representation of the Father and being able to speak with the full power and authority of the Father. So if the culture had been perfect, he might have sent his daughter. But since the culture was limited, just like we're limited today in certain ways, God was merciful, and he spoke to us in ways that we can understand. So hopefully you see now that the Son of God is more than just a relationship. It's title, it's power, it's mission, it's authority. And when we talk about Jesus as the Son of God, it is as if God himself is in the gospel speaking to people or speaking to us today, and we need to pay attention to that. So So until next time, shalom, y'all.